everyone, it's Greg from the Western Fair District, and welcome to our first installment of Ask Chef Mike. Mike Moore is the executive chef of the Western Fair District, and he's a busy guy typically, oversees a culinary team of 10. They look after everything from the raceway, top of the fair dining room, our sports center, our agriplex, shows and events, even our annual fair. So a very busy guy year-round at the district, but like a lot of us right now, at home and a little more free time on his hands. So we appreciate you taking a few minutes to answer some questions that have been submitted by followers of ours on social media. You ready to get started?
Ready to go.
Excellent. And we thank you for submitting your questions to us. The first one coming from Bianca. When cooking salmon at home, chef, is there a way you can get more flavor out of it?
Great question, Bianca. I noticed in your question itself, you had mentioned that you like to use lemon pepper on the fish and then a little bit of garlic in the oil. That's great. But the only thing is you're flavoring more of the oil than the fish. So what I'd recommend, very simple, just marinate your fish in advance. So one thing you could do, olive oil, a little bit of lemon juice perhaps, some garlic, a little white wine if you'd like it, and let it sit in there for as long as you can. That way, you just fry it from there and you're going to have the flavor already soaking in there. Another option is you could do a dry rub. Clubhouse makes all kinds of different options out there that are fantastic. And if you're getting a little on the creative side, you could even try glazing your fish. All these will make it taste so much nicer.
And one thing I do know is that you're not supposed to overcook salmon. So for someone like myself, how can you tell when it's cooked properly?
Greg, great question. What I always look for is in the side of the fish. As it's cooking, you'll start to see little pockets of fat starting to form, little white little pouches. When you start to see that, the fish is telling you, I'm ready to eat.
All right, great information there. Our next question coming from Debbie and wondering about knife sharpeners. Now, professional chefs like yourself use the stone sharpeners typically. People at home, a lot of times, will have the pull-through style of knife sharpener. Is there a big difference between the two?
You're definitely going to get a better edge off of the stone or a honing steel. But that's my opinion. I sharpen my knife 2 to 3 times a week on average. Your typical homeowner, they're going to maybe use that pull-through unit maybe once a month. So for that type of application, it's more than adequate. The one thing I will stress though is you want to make sure that when you are using it, that you're pulling the knife through at a steady stream and at an even pressure. You want to make sure you're not taking off too much metal. One other thing I would recommend is maybe about once a year, depending on how often you're using it, you might want to consider getting it professionally sharpened, just so you have a really nice clean edge on there.
Thank you, Debbie. And our last question coming from Kimberly, wondering about making homemade chicken fingers. Are there alternatives to the traditional breading you would use?
Lots of options out there. Your traditional breading is you would flour, egg wash, and then your breadcrumbs. One thing that you can use, you can substitute cornstarch for flour. You can use buttermilk instead of an egg wash. And if you don't have buttermilk, you can make it a little bit of vinegar or lemon juice and a little bit of milk, and it'll thicken up. And your coating. You have all kinds of different options out there. You can use potato chips. You can use pretzels. You can use crackers. You can use cornflakes. All these different little things, roll it around and create a nice crunch. One thing as well you can consider, if you happen to have a box of instant mashed potatoes in your fridge or in your cupboard, pull that out. Use that coating instead of anything else. It'll create like a nice little, almost like a Lay's potato chip coating around your chicken strip.
That sounds great. I think I'll try that myself. Thank you, Chef Mike. I'm sure more people will have questions to ask you. Can we get you back again?
Absolutely. Keep them coming. This is fun.
All right, perfect. And make sure to keep following us online on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Submit your questions, keep them coming, and you might be featured on an upcoming edition of Ask Chef Mike.